the huh? What? Where am? What's going? Hey, what's happening? What is this? Is this a review? A review? Is that what? Is my camera? What's up, everybody? My name's Corey, better known as the Seaman. I want to welcome you to another edition of the Seaman's Cinema Sit Down. I think this has got to be the last thing I really remember. Is that today's my birthday. 1 year on YouTube. A year ago today, I saw Last Jedi and did a review and posted it December 15th. Okay, I know what's going on now. I'm sorry. James Wan, I think you broke my brain, but like in the best way possible. You know what? I think I figured this out, man. Why don't you pull up a chair, take a seat? I think I'm getting ready to dive into a spoiler-free edition of the Seaman Cinema Sit Down for Aquaman. That's right, December 15th. The last thing I remember doing was going to see Aquaman, and I said that I like left all of my webbing all over the theater after Spider-Man. I go see Aquaman and I'm soaking wet. I'm soaking wet. I take that as you will. You know what? I went to this movie. I'm not even mad. So I went to Aquaman, dude. And Aquaman just hit me with a tidal wave, man, all over my face, neck, and chest. And I loved every second of it, man. This movie. Whoo! Wow. James Wan. Let me tell you, man. James Wan got to make a James Wan film, and this thing is spectacular. This thing is gorgeous from start to finish. It has not just one, but two heroes. Oh man, dude, our leads in this movie, goodness. Some rough spots, but ultimately, wow, dude, like I said, this thing is gorgeous, right? We've seen it in the trailers. I'm sorry, I'm just really wet Aquaman. Thank you for that. I look a little. Let my hair look a little nicer now. But the thing is, like, it is gorgeous, right? And we've seen in like the trailers, like I said, like all the neon lights and bright lights and all this beautiful stuff under the water, and it's there. And it's wonderful, and everything in Atlantis is gorgeous. But what's really cool is like James Wan kind of like explains why everything looks like that. And all of a sudden, to a surface dweller like myself, it makes a whole lot of sense. The visual effects in this movie are spectacular. The action sequences in this movie are spectacular, man. This movie delivers. This is a roller coaster, man. This movie moves. It never slows down. You are just constantly going, even when you do kind of slow down and you get to have nice moments between, Arthur and Mera, or getting to see, Atlanta, and Aquaman's dad, Tom Curry. Getting, even when we get those nice, tender, sweet moments between people and you kind of slow down a little bit for the story, it keeps moving, man, and the action never stops, and it comes out of left field and it comes out of right field, and right when you think, the movie might be slowing down, boom, you get hit with some action, and it's all wonderful, man. The transitions, oh my god, dude, the transitions in this movie, some of them are breathtaking, right? We've seen some of them. The one thing I could probably complain about with this movie is how much we saw beforehand. Don't worry, you get so much more. But there were moments in this movie where I was like, I wish we hadn't have seen that. But this movie needed major hype, and I get why they did it. But like that scene on the rooftop, man, when Mera's running from the Atlantean, army guys, and Arthur's fighting Black Manta, and you're moving around on the, it's all wonder, and so many of those things where you're transitioning from one to the next, you're like, oh whoa, when did that happen? Even in more subtle ways where like you think you're diving into the ocean and all of a sudden something different, and you're like, oh wow, how did we get here or there? This stuff's wonderful. On top of that, I really dug this story, man. This is a hero's story. We really get to see Arthur Curry become Aquaman. He shows up, and this takes place right after Justice League. And like, he was Aquaman in Justice League because he had to be, but he wasn't donning the suit, man. The orange suit, which by the way, I mean, I know we've seen it already, but when you get to see it like a lot, this thing is so nice. I don't know how they did it, but it's wonderful. But like, like he wasn't fully Aquaman. We get to watch him become Aquaman, and I love that part of the story. I love how it's tied into his family and how, what goes on at the beginning of the movie and what we learn and how that plays throughout the whole story, I really thought worked. I like that there are two villains in this movie. I was worried that Black Manta might get shortchanged a little. He doesn't, man. And King Orm, also really solid. Like, scary dudes. Like, they definitely, put Arthur in situations where you're like, oh man, what's gonna happen? And I like that. And what's cool is we get like legit backstories for both of these guys. We definitely understand both of their driving motivations. As much as we get to understand Arthur's. And the way his story ties in to like the Black Manta story at the beginning, something happens and you're kind of like, okay, maybe. But what happens is that whatever takes place at the beginning, Arthur learns from that, and like they address it in the movie in a way where you're like, okay, I'm all right with it because that happened, and that's part of him becoming a hero. And I dug that stuff in the movie. Jason Momoa is just wonderful, right? Like, it's one of those things where he delivers some really cheesy lines in this movie. And say what you want about Zack Snyder, but taking the risk to cast Jason Momoa to play Aquaman when Aquaman is traditionally, this kind of boring, blonde, okay underwater cop, right? And you cast Jason Momoa and you inject so much life into this character. And it's so authentic because it's Jason Momoa getting to do him. He gets to put a lot of himself into this character. And that makes those cheesy lines and moments like that really, really feel authentic. And every time they happen, you don't sit there going, oh man, what a cheesy line. You sit there and you smile, man. Like, you literally, like, I looked around too a couple times when those lines hit, and you just sit and people are just like, because it feels so authentic. And that's the thing, like, his dialogue throughout the movie really works, right? Like, he comes off like this idiot, but he has moments where he's brilliant. And it always works. However they're flowing him in or out, even when he's having these kind of shining moments too. It just all feels authentic to him because so much of Jason Momoa, you can tell, is injected into that. And that makes Aquaman a ton of fun. I just love his determination and just when he gets those big moments and Momoa like really is able to unleash, it shines, man. And then Amber Heard, oh man, I'm about to say something about Amber Heard's character, and there are some soft moments in the movie with her and Arthur, Jason Momoa, that are really nice, and maybe a little bit more, because her hardness sometimes comes off a little stiff, but when she does kind of get to relax and loosen up, oh man, everything about Mera pops. And then you want to be talking about a hero. Bro, her skill set is so marvelous to look at, and it's so wonderful and powerful, and it makes her like a legit player in this movie the whole way. And what's wonderful is she compliments Arthur every step of the way, man. And these two need each other, right? Like, you can't get to where we get to in this movie without Arthur needing Mera and Mera needing Arthur. And it's really, really wonderful. And like I said, getting to watch him become Aquaman and what it takes for him to finally earn the suit. Oh, it just worked. I loved both of their journeys. And like I said, our villains were really, really solid. Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, who plays Black Manta, Wow, man, I really dug what motivates him, right, and like how that works into the character, what we learn about him from a backstory perspective, and how that motivates him to do everything in the movie is wonderful. And then his visual effects are amazing. And like I said, where I was talking about how like certain things that you see sometimes are deceptive, and then when you find out what they are, they work so well in this world. And that's the same thing with Black Manta, his suit, and the way it works and how it works, the way in which it's described or given, although we don't understand all of it, allows some of the visual effects to the thing. Some of the best visual effects come from him, and why they happen makes sense because of how the technology works. And he's terrifying, he is scary, and it's an evolution to him. And there's a nice little nod to what we're familiar with Black Manta, and just things that happen to him and his character that are just really, really awesome. And then you have Patrick Wilson playing King Orm, and same thing, you get where he's coming from, although it's twisted into that you've gone too far and crossed the line, and what his motivations are and how he works. He's manipulative, he's deceptive, he knows way more than he lets on sometimes, and he just really does a good job. And when he finally gets to the Ocean Master part of it, again, the look, wow, and something about the Ocean Master bit I didn't expect to happen, and I was like, oh, that's so cool. So many things in this movie just make you go, oh, that's so cool. But I really dug Patrick Wilson, man. I thought he made a nice counter. The battles that Aquaman has with both Black Manta and with Ocean Master are really, really dope. And I enjoy them. And the way, like I said, Mera fits into it and how she gets to interact. Then throw in, you got Dolph Lundgren and Willem Dafoe. I love what's going on with them. Lundgren doesn't bring a whole lot. I just enjoy seeing him on camera. But I really dug Willem Dafoe's performance, what he brings to the story and how him and Arthur interact, and same with Mera and some of the stuff that they do, like within that story, I really dug. But Nicole Kidman and Tamora Morrison, Atlanta, and Tom Curry. Oh man, they were awesome. And like Nicole Kidman gets a moment, and you're just like, yeah, it's great. And just their story, it's so sweet, man. You get to points, and you're just like, oh man, like you just really feel it. And just because they both give really solid performances, and then like I said, you just take into the visuals, man. By the time we get to the third act of this movie, and this is the first thing I thought of, and I went right to the guy next to me. I was like, what did you think? And he was like, I really dug it. I was like, oh, me too. Better than Wonder Woman. And he was like, nah. I was like, nah, I'm with you too. I don't think it's better than Wonder Woman, right? Those first two acts of Wonder Woman are like so perfectly flawless, and so like big, right? Like there's so much going into that, that I still think it's a better movie. Although I've always said the problem with Wonder Woman is that third act, and the third act in this movie, it's wild, it's insane. But it fits because this whole movie is wild and insane, and if anything, it is the most entertaining third act that I think we've gotten in any of the DC movies. And acts 1 and 2 are rock solid too, man. You just get to really enjoy this world like that. And I'm not trying to do compares, right? But like the way after I saw Black Panther, I wanted to go right back to Wakanda. I want to go right back to Atlantis, man. Like I said, Mera, give me that movie yesterday, today, tomorrow, every day. I would love to see that, man. Give me James Wan and Mera. Ooh, maybe throw maybe team up with Wonder Woman, maybe. I don't know. It could be cool. I really dug, and so much of it is because of the visuals and the way the special effects work. And then you take all the underwater stuff and the different, groups of Atlantis, and the different kings and the looks and feels to all of them and how they interact with the ocean animals, and how all of those sea creatures interact with Aquaman. That stuff is, oh my God, there's some really, really nice moments where you're just like, oh, that was so cool. With things that Arthur can do, and just all of it is just, I could just ramble and ramble and ramble. I loved me the heck out of Aquaman. This movie, if you're a DC fan, man, get ready. I think we are about to go on a really fun ride with some DC movies. This is a really, really strong start. I'm super pumped, as many of you know, for Shazam. I think that's just also going to continue to be fun, and that's the stress here for me. This movie is fun, man, and it's edge of your seat sometimes, and it just builds, and the score is wonderful, and the soundtrack works at times, although sometimes the soundtrack's a little like, maybe, but a big win for DC. James Wan, this was absolutely tremendous. I tweeted out right after. You outdone yourself, sir. This is wonderful, and that's the thing I really love. This feels like, that you can tell that this is a James Wan movie through and through. They let him take all the risks, and I can understand, right, like where not everybody is gonna be ecstatic about this movie the way I am, and I can understand that. But there's one thing about this movie that you cannot take away from it. This movie is big, it is bold, it takes massive risks, and it never regrets itself for doing it. It never wavers, it never hesitates. Every risk, everything it tries to do, it goes for it 100%. You can't deny that from this movie, and for me, that's what made it spectacular. But I dug the team ups that we get in this movie. It's not just Arthur. Like I said, this is like a 2-hero movie, and I love watching the two of them just move throughout this whole movie. And like I said, when you're not in the action, I dig the soft moments and the nice moments and the way the story developed both of our villains and both of our characters, the main characters, that by the time we get to the end, you're like, wow, here's some real villains and some real heroes. And of course, it's a superhero movie. You get the nice kind of fun visual end credit. Then you get a scene, and it was a scene that I was hoping it was going to be, and I got real excited about it and what it could mean in the future. You do not have to stay all the way to the end. It's the only end credit in the movie. So there you go, man. I got hit with a tidal wave of Aquaman. So much so that I'm like, it almost looks like I would have gone and jumped in my shower, right? I didn't, man. I just got flooded with Aquaman all over, face, neck, chest. I'm soaked. Look at me, man. I'm drenched in Aquaman, and I'm ecstatic about being drenched. From this movie is just, I really just had a fun, awesome time, and that's something I think this DC franchise needs, and Jason Momoa is certainly the dude to deliver it. So there you go, man. That's my non-spoiler review for Aquaman. Now I want to know what you're thinking, man. This was an Amazon Prime event tonight. I got to go see it early. So if you are a Prime member and you saw it, what did you think about the movie? What did you like? What did you not like? What worked and didn't? Did you like Arthur's story? Did you like how he, how the hero build worked? Did you like the villains? Try not to do spoilers or mark them as such, but let me know that down below. If you haven't seen the movie, not that I need to, right? That 5-minute trailer should entice the heck out of you, but did the Seaman entice you? I hope I did, man. This movie was fantastic. I really had a great time tonight. The whole crowd did, man. The movie ended and the place just went like crazy, and I have not been in a theater for a DC movie like that outside of Wonder Woman. And that's something special and something that this group should be proud of. So if you're psyched for this movie, if you're not psyched for it, leave it all down below. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. And as always, if you're new here, hit that subscribe and little bell so you can join along with the Seaman and all his sit-down peeps, man. Come join the fun. Get alerts every time I make a new video. For the Seaman's Cinema Sit-Down, I'm just like, I'm wet. I'm wet, I'm crazy, I'm wild, I am out, man. Peace! You wanna do more with the Seaman? You can see this video or this one. And don't forget subscribing over here.